Hello, this is Kat. Welcome to Love, Drama, and Deceit. I'm going to do a weekly recap of General Hospital Monday through Thursday. We'll start off by talking about Sonny and Carly. Sonny went over to Carly to, they was talking about his surgery. She told him that she was going to go with him, and he told her that she didn't have to because if she did, they would, uh, his enemies or whomever he think is watching him will try to follow them and know, and be suspicious of where they're going for as him going into the hospital and having open heart surgery. But she told him that they would say that she was going to, that they were going to check out other hospitals for Michael, but he didn't want to use Michael for that reason. But she said, they not really using Michael, but it just was, that was a way for her to go and for people to not to get suspicious of why he was. If his enemies know he's sick, then they try to take over his territory. I think he's weak, so because he's a mob boss, so they are in Los Angeles right now surgery, and Brick showed up because Brick was the one that set everything up for. Brick was the one that set everything up. Brick was the one that set up everything for Sonny, out of town in Los Angeles. They went to Los Angeles because they didn't want anybody to know. So me, I think this surgery is not going to go off as well as he would like for it to, because Natalia told Sidwell, which is her ex-husband, that Sonny was having some heart trouble, but she didn't tell him anything else because she didn't know anything else because by that time her and Sonny were on the outs and he never told her where he was going to have the surgery at. But I think some kind of way Sidwell uh, found out. Um, I don't. I think that he's going to try and do something to Sonny while he's there because the person that was giving him the needle to put him under, they didn't show their hands. They didn't show the person. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking that something's not going to go according to plan since him and Natalia is on the outs because Natalia didn't tell Sonny that Gene Sidwell was her husband. He told Lucy before he told Natalia that he was gonna tell out them about being ex-husband and wife, which she said that was like way years back, over 20 years ago. However old her son, she said when her son was a baby, that's when they split up. But Sonny doesn't trust her now because she didn't come forward, and Maxie and Maxie and Anna and Lucy. And in Brooklyn, they all was discussing it, and they asked Anna what she thought, and Anna told her that she didn't think that Sidwell would do any criminal lies work through deception because that was his way of making himself look legitimate. To rebuild his reputation through them. So she told him she thought they were safe to go ahead and let his investment stay as is. Um, then that's when then Natalia came in, as they was talking. So they called Sonny and told Sonny to come over there, and they fired Natalia. She tried to defend herself, tell her side, but they wasn't really hearing it because, excuse me, she should have told them. I think she should have told them the day that he walked in that office, but she chose not to tell him. For what reason? If you've been divorced from him all that long time, many years, decades, as you say, you should have went ahead and just told him. Because that, to me, that looks suspicious. Why did you not tell him? I mean, she said why she didn't tell him because she didn't want to run the deal because reception needed the money and to make that new formula. What they have on shelf that's selling off the shelf is obviously doing real good. So that was her excuse, but they wasn't going for it. So they went ahead and they terminated her. And Sonny was there, and she said, told Sonny, so everything that I've done for you, he didn't have her back, no kind of way. But he told them that they did the right thing by firing her. I think so too because there's something up with her because she already done told her ex husband about Sonny, so therefore you can't trust her, you know. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Willa and Jason. Uh, Willa went over to the Quartermain's detective, her and Michael's children over there to see Monica. And so she ran into Jason. She was talking to Jason about Carly trying to take her children away from her. And she told uh, Jason told her this nobody can fix the situation but her, and told her that she needed to go see Michael because she thought Michael was trying to take her children away from her, but Jason talked her into going to see Michael in Germany, and she said she would because which was right because you don't can't go off of what Carly is saying, you can't go off of what Drew is saying. You have to talk to Michael himself, even though he can't talk that long because he's in real bad pain. But I think she's doing the right thing by going and talking to Michael herself, and that way she can kind of see that Michael is not trying to take the kids away from him, even though he did try and he said he was going to do it before this happened to him. But hopefully, this will end the war and they can come to some kind of resolution and get Drew out of her head. That he's trying Drew is something else. I would have never thought that about Drew, but yeah. So she decides she's going to go to Germany and so see what she can find some kind of resolution between her and Michael and dealing with their children. So hopefully that'll work out. I hope so. And then you got Nina and Carly talking about Drew and Willow, and that uh, she got a friend of Nina called her and told her that Drew was looking at talking to a realtor in Washington D.C. So that just further told them that he's trying to move again, even though he's already moved them into their house, the house that he have there. Um, so Lewis have already moved in. Now he's trying to sneak off and move them to Washington without anybody knowing it. But Carly and Nina say they're going to try to work together, but Carly doesn't believe her. She's working with her to an extent, but she don't trust Carly, and Carly don't trust her. And she told Carly, like, asked her what was wrong. Why did she react the way she did when she came over to Drew and Willow's house? Because she told her, you know, one thing she crossed the line when she brought up Nail. She said, that she can't do that any again. And Carly kind of agreed with her, but no, Carly, she don't care. She'll bring it up again. But she wasn't worried about her trying to slap Willow. She more worried about her bringing up you the nail. You should have been saying something about that as well. And don't attack my daughter and don't put your hands on her. That should have been something you should have been saying too to Carly. But no, you never said that. And I didn't quite get that part right there because that's what you should have been talking about too as well. But you didn't. So they, her and Carly said they're gonna work together, but they not. Nina trying. I think Nina, me personally, I think she's just trying to see where Carly's head's at. But Carly, that's nothing Carly can do because Jason's not gonna let her do anything. I don't think so. So then you got Rick and Alexis. Alexa goes and sees Rick because she want to see if Rick remembers anything about the accident because Diane told her that she wants Diane told her that she wants that Rick may remember something and Elizabeth may remember something. So She felt like she needed to go ahead and commit Christina, but she went to talk to again. Christina went to talk to Rick to see if he remembered anything, but he didn't let on at first. He just kind of talked to her and asked her what was wrong with her, why she looked so frazzled, and she said she was fine and wasn't nothing wrong. But he told her, then he said, don't you, like that, and I mean, what Christina did. So, then he said, so then she said, well, also you in with the black man with Ava. And she said, the sad part about it, the worst part of it is that you embezzling from a child. He's wrong for that. But look, well, who was she embezzling the money for? She embezzled the money for Ava and Rick instead of just having Christina admit it. But she's not going to do it, so therefore she had to suffer the consequences. I don't agree with what they're doing, but it is what it is. She don't want to have her committed, so therefore you have to take the good with the bad, you know, and uh, and suffer the consequences. Okay, then you got Rick and Molly. Molly's at the hospital with her dad. He's she took him, got him out of bed, and they walking around the hospital getting some exercise. He was on the walker, and she talked about how her and Christina were getting along, and she talked about Cody and how Cody got her and him, Rick and Alexis, to come to um, agreement, to not always fussing and being down each other's throat. And that's pretty much all that was. They just, she was just helping her dad to get regain his strength back, and wanted him to hurry up and get out of the hospital so he can start back living his life. And then you got Cody in Brooklyn. Cody was at the Brooklyn got Cody to the hospital. He was one of the horses kicked him in the side, and he was bruised. I don't know if it kicked him in his ribs. And so they was looking for when they came in. Felicia was there, so she set him on the chair right there and got Cody an ice pack. Or they was looking for Lucas. Lucas was out at the time, so he wasn't there. So Brooklyn, Felicia gave Brooklyn an ice pack and she put it on Cody's side. She was unbuttoning Cody's shirt. Told Cody to unbutton his shirt, and Cody said, "Ain't you a married woman?" And she reached over there and started unbuttoning his shirt anyway, and told him, I said, "Have you seen my husband?" And he said, "Oh yeah, okay," like that. And so she put the ice pack on Cody, and they sit there, and she thought Cody thought she was still mad at him because of what she told Lulu, and but Brooklyn realized that Lulu tricked him, and she did because Lulu was a piece of work. I don't care too much for her. She's just too much for me. She's doing too much. She need to sit down and just chill out a little bit and live her life. You just woke up, been in the coma for 4 years, and you still ain't changed a bit. Still doing the same thing what you did before you went into the coma. Ain't learned no sense while you were asleep. But then you got Diane, Alexis, and Marco. And Marco is Natalia and Sidwell's son. He came there looking for a job. He's an attorney to work with Diane and Alexis at their firm. So they found out that he was they had hired him, and then they found out that he was Natalia and Jen Sidwell's son. So they kind of I don't know if they fired him or they just told him that think about it or what. But anyway, Sidwell kept calling. He called Alexis, and she wouldn't answer the phone. So, and well, I think she did answer the phone, but then she said she didn't have time to talk to him. So he come to her office and talked to her about trying to, you know, uh, hire her son back. That he didn't have anything to do with him and his business, and he put him through school, and he just kind of explained to her the situation, and he didn't grow up with his father with him, and I think he kind of like got in his life when he was like in high school. So so she listened to what he had to say, and so they had a meeting. Him and Diane, Alexis, and Marco. They had a meeting, so they gave him a chance to explain. And he said he wasn't keeping anything from them because that was something that he really didn't have to tell them in the interview. That who his parents was or anything. That's not part of the interview. And so they understood that, but they just wanted him to know that he should, don't have anything to do with Sonny and Jason. And they just wanted to know why he didn't tell him. He said, and that's what he said, that it just didn't come up. He didn't think it was important enough for, to tell him. But, but they did give him the job, and they accepted what his explanation was, because really, it, he didn't know that his situation with his father had anything to do with them. But they did give him his job back. Once Diane gave him some files and stuff to look at, he opened up the files, and there was that paper in there to have Christina committed to Ferncliff. I guess he saw it, but to me, when I saw it, it didn't have any names on it. So therefore, she told him to give it back to him and act like he didn't see that. Okay, and then Lexus and Diane talked. Diane was still trying to convince Alexis to commit Christina, because Christina was the one that cut the brake lines on Rick's car. She thought it was Ava car trying to kill Ava, but it was Christina. I mean, it was Elizabeth and Rick in the car. They got banged up pretty good, but they both going to be okay. It wasn't any serious injuries or anything like that. But Rick saw when he came to where he was unconscious, and he saw Christina out there, and so that's the cover up. Ava, that's the cover up. Then so Diane was trying to convince Alexis to commit her, and that way she won't go to jail, But after that night that she had with Christina, Alexis had a night with Christina and Molly, and so they was coming close again. So she didn't want to do anything to disrupt it. So she told Diane that she changed her mind. She didn't want to do it right now, because she said if she did that, committed Christina, that would destroy their relationship, and that's not what she wanted to do. She didn't want to destroy their relationship. So Diane tried again to convince her, say we can do it without Molly knowing, but no. Oh, let's just say Molly is too smart. She will find out why Christine is in Ferncliff. So she decided not to do it and just go ahead and let the chip fall where it may. But Diane don't know about the length of what Alexis is going to keep this thing quiet. And then you got Christina and Dante. They at Carly's house, uh, watching Christina's babysitting Donna while Sonny is in LA having surgery. Her and Dante is talking about is there too. Dante is there, and they're talking about Sonny and the surgery, and we're hoping everything will go well. And Dante thanked Christina for telling him about Sonny, because Sonny wasn't going to tell her. So so Donna called Sonny while Christina was there on Christina's phone, and he did FaceTime. And she saw him in the hospital, and she asked him where was he at, and she just said he was in the hospital. She did some tests run or something like that at the hospital. Then you got Lulu and Lucas. Okay, Lucas was at Lulu wanted to see Lucas, and it was about him being adopted, because now she's going back into journalism, and she's doing a piece on adoption. She's going to freelance, and so she was asking Lucas about being adopted by Bobby, and then him adopting Michael's son, not knowing that it was Michael's son at that time. And he was letting her know how he felt about that. And she asked him about Julian. He said, yes, he was glad that Julian was in his life. And he thought maybe that would upset Lulu, because Julian was the reason that she was on the bump when he tried to blow her up. So. And then you got Diane, Rick, and Molly. Diane went to the hospital to see uh, Rick, but she's the only wanted to go there because they wanted to take Donna out of the town, out of on vacation for a week, and so she had to get some papers signed because Rick is Ava's attorney. So that's what that was about. She wasn't there being concerned, but he knew that when Diane left, and Rick said, "Oh, so she knows about what Christina did," but he didn't let her know that he knew that she knew. I'm talking about Diane and Rick. Rick didn't let on that he know that Diane knew that Christina was the one that ran him off. They cut his brake line and tried to kill him. Then you got Marco and Lucas. Marco is Sidwell and Natalia's son, which is the one that's working with the Davis Miller, Diane Miller, and Alexis Davis. So they met when Lucas went out of town to that conference. Seemed like they're getting closer. He explained to Lucas that they had a talk, and Lucas wanted to know why come we asked him did he know who he was when he saw him at the conference. He told him no because they found out that that's Natalia Sidwell's son, and so he didn't. He thought he was doing being underhanded to him, lying just like Brad was, but no, that's not the case. He didn't know him, but he got Lucas to understand. So I guess they're going to continue dating or whatever. How far the relationship is going to go. And you got Danny and Dante and Jason and Rocco. They out playing ball. They all sitting there talking about how close Danny and Rocco is. And that Sam wanted them all to stay together. And so at that time it was working, but then Drew kind of messed that up. You know, Drew messed that up. So therefore they're not all staying under the same roof. They all remaining close. Him, Scout, and Danny, and what's his name, Rocco. So they are spending some time with Jason and Dante. So they're sitting there, talking and say they're gonna try to, they're brothers and they're gonna always be close. Then you got Portia and Drew. Uh, you got not Portia and Drew. You got Kai and Trina. They was talking about well, let's go to Kai and Drew. Kai, okay. Kai and Drew. Kai went over to Drew's house to tell him that he was going to do the surgery because he got hurt when he was playing football. So Drew got this doctor. They got this trial, and so Kai had Portia to look it over to talk to the doctor to see if that trial was a risk or should he do it. But Portia told him no. The percentage is not good on the outcome. He could end up in a wheelchair, not being able to work but walk. So Trina tried to talk him out of it, and Portia tried to talk him out. So he said, "No, he was willing to do it because he wanted to continue to play basketball. I mean, I'm sorry, he wanted to continue to play football. He wanted to continue to play football, so he's going to go ahead and do the surgery, regardless of what Portia says the outcome could be." So he goes over to Drew, talk to Drew about it, and tell Drew that he's going to go ahead and do the surgery. So Drew called and had it all set up for him, at the hospital. And so Portia, this girl comes up to Portia and tells her to sign off on something, and then some doctor, when Portia noticed the name, that she noticed that was the doctor that was going to do the surgery on Kai. So she left, and when she goes went to go, so uh, Portia left to go talk to Drew, okay, and told Drew that she don't think it's right for him to have him to do that surgery, knowing that the risks are not is very high and not, in other words, it's not a good outcome on that trial. The bad outweighs the good, but he's saying, he's not going to talk him out of it. He want to do it. He already made it right. So Drew don't care. Drew just wants the publicity. That's all. And so while she was there, Curtis came and asked her why she was there, and she said to talk about Kai. And so Curtis said that's why he was there too. So after she didn't get nowhere, Curtis just took her and they just left. And so Curtis and Trina had a conversation about Kai, because she's worried about Kai not listening and just going on with that surgery, not knowing the risk of his life, and he could end up in a wheelchair. He could not, but he could. And just letting him know that just there's other things other than football. But he said that's what he wanted to do is play football. So Trina couldn't talk him out of it, so she went and talked to her dad, and they just had a discussion. So that's just let him do what he want to do. So they're gonna leave it alone, and let him and do what he want to do. So it is what it is. And then you got Emma and Jocelyn. And Jocelyn was walking and found Emma in the dumpster doing her community service. So she helped her out of the dumpster, and they really didn't like each other, but they kind of had a little laugh together. And so Jocelyn, no, so Emma told Jocelyn. In other words, Jocelyn want to know what problem that Emma had with her. And Emma told her because you're always getting what you want. Anything you want, you get. It always work out for you. Because she didn't understand how she got in that class, and the class, and there was 10 people on the waiting list. But we know how she get in there because she's that spy, and she's in there spying on that teacher. So they kind of came to some kind of resolution, of in other words, she just think Jocelyn just entitled. And Jocelyn said she felt about her the way she felt about her when she was little, when they was children. That Emma got everything she wanted, but that is what it is. But I think they got some things off of their chest, and they worked out sometimes. And then you got Carly and Jason, like at Carly's house. Carly told Jason, well, Jason, in other words, Jason told Carly that he had a talk with Willow, and told Willow to go see Michael in Germany. And Carly didn't like it because she said Michael is still in love with Willow, because he felt like if she go talk to Michael about him being still in love with her, that he's gonna probably let her keep the children or whatever. If Michael is not like, Michael's a good guy. He can be ruthless, but I think he rather see her with them kids. Why he's not there. And Carly, she do too much anyway. Stay out of it. Stay in your lane. But I get it. I get the part with Drew because I don't really care for him either. What the things that he's doing, So, but with that being said, there's nothing that Carly can do. Uh, Willow's going to go to Germany to see Michael, and she had Diane to draw up some, try to get a date on the calendar to go to court, and Jason tried to talk her out of it, told she didn't have anything to do with it between Michael and Willow. But no one Carly, you know how Carly is. She has to put her 2 cents into everything. And then you got Jason and Sasha. Jason asked Sasha why did she take money from Sidwell, that she didn't need the money. He was going to give her the money, and he got mad at her. She said she only did it because she wanted to help out Max and them at Deception, because they needed that money to get there to jumpstart their next project as far as that formula. And so there was a call from he had to leave because Carly was at Drew's fussing with Willow, and so Nina called her text. Jason told him to come and get Carly, because then that's Carly and Willow was going there, and that's when Carly was about to slap Nina. I mean, Carly was about to slap Willow because of Willow was giving it good as she was getting. Willow was giving it back to Carly as like Carly was giving it to her, and Carly got mad and get ready to slap, and Jason stepped in just in time and grabbed her arm. So she didn't get to slap her, and that was good that she didn't. Okay, then you got Diane and Carly. Oh, oh yeah, that's what like Diane and Carly. All that was is she wanted Carly to put, like I said, put speed up the court date for the adoption. For the she wanted to speed up the court date, put it on the calendar, and speed up the court date. And then you got Cody and what's her name? Cody and Molly at the hospital. Cody is waiting on Lucas to get there so he can, check him out and see, what's going on with him. And so Molly said she would wait with him. So Molly waited with him, and as she waited with Cody, they talked. And then Molly was doing her paperwork, and oh yes, forgot about so yeah, that when let me go back to something. When Molly and Diane was in the room with Rick, Diane sit her purse down and knocked Molly's purse on the floor and hers. And when they did that, they were picking up the files, and some of the files got mixed up. Some of Diane's files got mixed up with Molly's and got into Molly's bag, which had that paper in there to commit Christina to Ferncliff. So as Molly was sitting there waiting with Cody at the hospital, she was doing paperwork and she opened that envelope. When she opened the envelope, she looked at those papers and it had committed. But it doesn't have no name on it. So I don't know why she was so shocked. But I didn't see a name on the it could have been named further down in the writing, but I didn't see no name on that. But with that being said, so that's kind of where it end out next week. If Molly what